I want to try reacting to Huggbees for once. If you like, you know what to do. Also, we have Falco, one of our many members who has become a mod. He is elevated to the status, and this could become you one day if you check out our Twitches. Maybe. Depends if you're a nice person. Anyway. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
Anyway. We're going to learn things about apparently a dude who ate knives. Hooray! Yeah. Was that on purpose?
I don't know. I don't know why it's randomly disappeared.
I don't know.
Welcome to a Weird Deaths special episode. If you've decided to ignore the greatest channel on YouTube for all this time and haven't seen any of my videos, let me clue you in as to what's going on. I produce a series called Weird Deaths, where I expertly analyze and childishly make fun of the Wikipedia article, The List of Unusual Deaths, which is a record of dumb and silly ways people have died throughout history. Normally for each video, I choose an era to focus on and proceed in chronological order. This episode was initially going to be on the 19th century, but after writing about the first entry on the list, I knew I had to make it its own video. I really wanted to dedicate some time to this one.
Okay.
I also kind of want to play Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played it yet, but I truthfully really did just...
Fable, have you played Tears of the Kingdom?
The Zelda one?
Yeah.
No.
I haven't
I've only beaten Breath of the Wild. I hadn't been able to, buy Tears of the Kingdom.
Me neither. I kind of wanted it though.
I would like to too, but not gonna lie, the $70 is kind of throwing me off.
Yeah, people need to stop increasing stuff to $70 because it makes it less chances you're gonna buy.
Yeah, not gonna lie, when the Super Mario RPG remake was announced, I was 100% afraid you were gonna tell me it's $70. I was like, I want it, but I cannot justify spending $70 on a game. I'm sorry, especially a remake.
Yeah.
I just can't. I just can't. And as much as I want to support the games and show that this is what we want, I have a price, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's just it. Listen, I can get a bunch of like older games for like I can get like 4 older games for that $70. I'm not gonna just drop that unless I know it's gonna be a good and great game.
Right.
Yeah.
Just want to push this one out as fast as I could.
Okay.
It's a doozy. You can probably tell by the runtime of this video that in relation to just one single entry on the list, this story's going to be fucking kooky bananas. And I have been absolutely ramshackled into giving this one a spotlight because it is without a doubt my new favorite weird death throughout all of space and time. Maybe even including fictional deaths.
Really?
Today, we're going to talk about John Cummings, the 19th century man who died by... Well, you'll see. John Cummings was an American sailor who was sailing around in France in 1799. While strolling around with some of his friends, he stumbled upon a street performer pretending to swallow knives. It could have been sleight of hand, it could have been actual sword-swallowing trickery. Didn't find any
I
record
never
that
knew how
specified,
people
really
kind of
doesn't
do that.
matter. Cummings wanted to desperately be a sword swallower after seeing how easy it was to get people cheering and going nuts. Rather than following naval tradition by swallowing swords metaphorically and having to one day work up the courage to tell his parents that his best friend, Lance, was more than just a friend, he decided that he wanted to do it literally. With a last name like Cummings, I expected better, but whatever. Later that night, Cummings decided to exercise his American freedom and get belligerently drunk and talk a lot of shit.
Of
While
course.
properly wasted, Cummings bragged to all of his good friends that he could swallow knives just as good as anyone else. His friends did what any rational person would do and said, "Oh yeah? Prove it, bitch." And Cummings said, "Okay, fine, I will." Cummings then took out his pocket knife and swallowed it. Let me read that sentence again. Cummings then took out his pocket knife and fucking swallowed it whole. Are any of you out there even remotely uncomfortable from that sentence? I am, because You're not supposed to do that.
Fable,
Yeah,
I don't think this man is going to live very long.
he's not. If he's willing to do something incredibly dangerous without without
Supervision.
proper training or supervision or, like I said, training, then yeah, he's gonna hurt himself, and that's not gonna be fun for nobody, especially not him.
Well, he did it while drunk, so it's a little bit more understandable.
That's even worse. Yes,
It probably made it less painful.
probably. I don't know.
Sword swallowing, knife swallowing, razor blade swallowing, and all of those circus tricks are just that.
Tricks.
Through one means or another, you don't actually swallow the blade. Well,
Yeah.
except in glass eating, that's actually real.
Wait,
You can
what?
look that up. First
No,
of all,
I don't
for
wanna.
all of these acts, none of the blades are sharpened whatsoever. The performer makes them look very sharp, but just like the average British comedy, they're dull as fuck. Some sword swallowers, some sword swallowers, use retractable prop swords to pretend that they're swallowing a real one, but fuck those guys, they suck at their only job. For actual sword swallowing, you do place the sword down your throat,
Really?
but you don't actually swallow it. That's why every sword has a huge hilt on them, preventing it from falling down and shish kebabbing your already eaten dinner.
That's not what
For
they're
knife
there for,
swallowing,
but
it's
yeah.
the same idea, except you also can potentially work in some sleight of hand because the blade is smaller. And with
Yeah.
razor blades, there's like a million different ways to do that trick, but the point is, don't swallow blades.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do a really cool party trick.
No.
After consuming the crooked cleaver, Cummings was totally fine. In fact, he
Really?
was so fine that he swallowed 3 more
No.
knives. And then, a few hours to a few days later, depending on the regularity of his colon, Cummings was checking out a fresh dookie he laid in his toilet and began counting. 1, 2, 3...
Where'd he get the
3.
knives?
Pretty sure I swallowed 4 knives.
Oh my god.
Whatever. In the ultimate declaration of, it's just a flesh wound, I'm fine, I don't do hospitals, Cummings only passed 3 of the 4 knives he swallowed, and then went about his life like absolutely everything was totally fine, and he wasn't full of jagged, gnarly metal sitting inside of his intestinal tract.
It's a Fable.
Yeah.
It's amazing what the human body can pass, huh?
Yeah, you got, like you said earlier, my dude, the human body is, well, it's a marvel.
An enigma.
It's a marvel in and of itself. But you're right, it is weird how it's weird that it can do a lot of things, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Mere millimeters away from his vital
You
organs.
want something kind of interesting?
What?
Out of all of our body parts, all our body parts that kind of grow weaker as we age, as long as our brain stays healthy, we're kind of fine. Like, it doesn't matter what happens to our body, but our brain will kind of relatively stay fine. However, if we get dementia or any other sudden thing, then, well, we're pretty much doomed because, well, our poor brain has a disease that can't be cured.
Really?
Yeah, as long as you stay healthy, your brain will be fine, but the minute you get dementia or brain damage or any sort of thing, then you're pretty much doomed. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Kind of interesting. Yeah, because that's the one thing we can't really fix or help as we get older or at
Maybe
all,
one
which kind
day
of
we
sucks.
can.
Maybe someday would be kind of nice, yeah.
They are.
Years went by with this guy carrying a set of carving instruments in his carcass, which he hopefully wasn't scanned
Wait, he said how many years?
by with this guy
Artisans?
full of jagged,
How many
gnarly metal sitting inside of his intestinal tract, mere millimeters away from his vital organs.
Yeah.
6 years went by with this guy carrying a set of carving instruments in his carcass, which he hopefully wasn't scanned into buying to, link in the description.
my
Until
God.
one day Cummings was stationed aboard another ship. He overheard a revelrous group of crewmen saying his story about swallowing knives was bullshit. So Cummings figured that doing the trick again ought
Why?
to do the trick, and he swallowed another knife,
Oh my god.
and then another one,
No.
And then another one.
No.
And then another one, 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 and then another one. He swallowed 14 fucking knives. Now this one went a little bit south compared to the first time because it sent him to the hospital for a few weeks.
14 knives in your stomach. Why? Fable?
I would like to kind of remind everyone that there was actually a person in history that actually ate a whole plane, I believe.
What?
Not all at one sitting, but over time, actually ate a plane. I think it was a plane, or was it a truck? I don't know. History is filled with interesting folks. Look it up, if a thing. I know I'm not 100% accurate on it, but it's a thing.
Let's just keep going.
While laying in bed in excruciating pain and continually shitting and vomiting out blood, Cummings said,
14 knives.
"How could this possibly have happened?"
Oh my god, I
Amazingly.
wonder
And
why.
I really do mean amazingly because this story is so goddamn stupid. Cummings not only survived, but he successfully pooped out every single knife over the coming weeks. In his own words, he was safely delivered of his cargo. And that's an incredible analogy for
pooped
taking a
out all
shit that I hope you
14
use in the
knives.
future. Christmas rolled around, and I think Mr. Cummings was in the Christmas spirit because he did what most people do upon learning that they're going to see their relatives and parents again. He got uproariously drunk, and
Of
while
course.
drunk aboard the ship he happened to be working on at the time, he
I
adopted
found
a
out his
strong
name. Do
arm
you want to
swag.
know it?
What?
If anyone's interested in this, man, his name is Michel Latito, I believe. It apparently took him exactly 2 years to fully consume the plane. I just wanted to let you all know.
Why would you eat a plane?
Because he apparently because he had an I don't know, he was weird and he had an unusual diet. I think he had
More than
pica?
Fable, eating nothing but shrimp is an unusual diet. This is a ridiculous diet.
He had an eating disorder known as pica, which is an eating disorder that basically makes you eat objects that like you
aren't
have a
food.
strange like foods that shouldn't be considered food. Yes, he had that. And because I guess he was considered an oddity, they didn't stop him from trying to protect himself, so instead he was allowed to do stuff, and then he ended up eating a plane.
Yeah, see, that's more understandable if he had pica, which is an actual problem that some animals have, actually.
Yes, it is something that has in humans. For those of you that don't know, it is a strange thing. It's basically makes it so for some reason you would want to eat inedible objects like pennies, hair, things like that. Objects you should not eat. Also, never eat hair because hair is not digestible. Seriously, your hair, cat hair or whatever isn't digestible. No one can eat it. That's why cats get hairballs, because they can't properly digest the hair from that they clean off themselves. The more you know.
Synonymous with the internet war crime of talk shit and find out, because he happened to hear someone talking shit. Specifically, someone muttered, "You see that Cummings guy over there? He says he swallowed 14 knives in one sitting." Yeah, right. What a liar. Cummings, a man of iron will from sailing the iron seas, put forth his most mature response and said, "The fuck did you just say? I'll prove you wrong right now, you fucking bitch."
Oh my god.
20. He swallowed 20 knives.
No.
And once again, everything was fine. John Cummings was fine.
How?
And he remained perfectly fine for 6 months. The first sign of trouble started when he vomited up a handle from one of the knives he
Oh.
swallowed. On several different occasions, he found knife fragments and metal bits in his bowel movements.
Oh.
Eventually, he was discharged from his ship due to being unable to work thanks to his constant severe
I
pain.
fucking wonder why.
And he finally went to a hospital. Over a year later.
What?
I seriously can't believe. I fucking can't believe this one. It's gonna be impossible to top this story in terms of weird deaths. I am on the absolute edge of my seat,
wonder,
even though
dear
the end
God.
of this story is spoiled by the fact that this is a series about people who died in weird ways. Okay, so Cummings went to the hospital in England, and they of course told him to piss off. Cummings told them in great detail that he'd eaten like 20 knives, and everyone on staff thought there's no way anyone would live to be able to explain that bullshit.
Yeah.
And as much as Cummings screamed, I'll prove it right now. Bring me a fucking knife right now.
Oh
Give
my
me that
God.
fucking scalpel. That works for me. You know what? I'll grab these waiting room pens here and I'll start eating those because I got a hankering for proving the haters wrong.
Dear
bitch.
God.
But even after finally being examined by a doctor, Cummings was discharged from the hospital after only a few days.
What?
Because, to be honest, what do you find more probable? A man ate 20 knives and strutted into the hospital and said, hey, excuse me, my tummy hurts because I ate some knives? Or some guy's lying about this scenario and is just trying to score some free 19th century oxycodone. But Cummings didn't give
Yeah.
up. He kept going back to the hospital as his condition worsened. And after a doctor finally took a stool sample and saw his jet black, more blood than poop excretion, the doctor decided to perform a more in-depth exam to see what had actually happened. Now, this story takes place about 100 years before the discovery of X-rays and their use in the medical fields. So, how do you at home, you supple, innocent, naive viewers at home, think that the doctor decided to check him for colon claymores? Well, they performed a rectal exam.
Okay.
And the doctor found a razor blade in his asshole.
Oh.
Oh. I take it back. I fucking hate this story. I don't ever want.
Fable.
I don't know what to say, man. This is
That's
this is
painful.
already a recipe for disaster, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
It's scary.
I want to tell this again. Surgery by this point was impossible. This dude was more of an Iron Man than Robert Downey Jr., and more of a mess of painkillers and fucked up life choices than young Robert Downey Jr. Their only option was to give him some acid pills to swallow that were intended to create a chemical reaction with the iron in the knives and dissolve them away.
Usually
It
helps.
didn't work,
Obviously.
and John Cummings died. Because he swallowed 38 knives.
Yeah.
How the fuck else
38.
did you think this would play out?
38.
And after he died, the medical staff immediately scrambled and fought each other to be the first to do an autopsy.
Yeah,
because
that's
to them, this was like
understandable.
the Super Bowl. Doctors, especially surgeons, as we know, are notorious psychopaths who want nothing more than to play around in people's bodies and enact elaborate little puppet shows for their own amusement. So it came as no surprise when old knife gut Cummings croaked up there was a line out the door to see if you could get your hands onto his intestines and try to slice your surgical gloves off with them. John Cummings' intestines were pitch black from all the iron oxide in his system, and about 30 to 40 pieces of metal from the knives and wood from
God
their
damn.
handles were found in John's body.
Some of these knives are actually partially... Wow. He actually did digest a lot of the metal. God damn.
And that's like a lot of fucking knives, oh my god. Now, the case of John Cummings isn't totally unique in the medical world. People swallow things that they shouldn't all the time. And in fact, there's a mental compulsion called pica that
we just talked
causes you
about
to eat
this.
stuff.
I know it's pronounced pica, but I don't care. I just need a break from the knife. That's why it shows a picture of Pikachu.
Shouldn't for no reason at all. There are people in history who have died consuming something they shouldn't,
Yeah.
edible or not. But John's case is so special to me because he ate fucking knives.
Yeah.
And not just one or two. He ate 38 knives. if my terrible math is correct. And that's more terrible. Thanks to the time period he lived in and the sheer volume in which he ate the knives, not a damn thing was even done about it for a very, very long time. These days, if you ate 40,000 knives, you'd fire up an X-ray and yank the things out with a probably really impressively minimal surgical procedure. And I'll bet that if someone swallowed 38 knives today, modern medicine could probably get them all out so well that the doctors wouldn't even have to wash their hands off before they high-fived after the operation. So the next time that you're walking around in your kitchen and you eye a particularly tasty-looking Santoku, don't do it.
No, of course not.
Don't eat it. I don't care how tasty it might look and how much it might fill you up. Don't.
Don't.
Don't do it. Don't eat knives.
Obviously.
Don't. Just don't fucking do it. Do I really? I really have to make videos. I really have to make videos explaining not to eat knives.
Apparently.
Oh, wait. Yep. Tide Pods.
Oh, yeah, I forgot people did that. I completely forgot about that. That was such a stupid time. Fable?
Yeah?
You alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm alright.
Okay, well, if you guys want us to watch more Huggbees, comment down below, give us a bunch of follows. Like,
We want bees?
follows.
I'll take bees.
Oh my god.
Welcome to Applebee's. Would you like the apple or the bees?
Listen, I'll be honest with you guys. If you get any of those videos, usually we do a continuation if they get to like 1K. Because that's just how it works, because that gives us incentive saying, oh, a bunch of our followers must have really liked this video because we got all the way up there. Right, Fable?
I think so?
Well, that's mostly what it works. But yeah, so if you guys like this stuff, you know what to do. Like, comment, hopefully if you want you can subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.